tight. First of all, I want to thank you. First of all, I need to thank my wife, right? Nettie does. She does all of this. This is sort of her gig. And she's an amazing host, and she's an awesome wife. A lot of the stuff that you guys don't even see at the gym is like the stuff that I could never do, and we would have never even gotten started without her. She does all the administrative things at the box, payroll and taxes and all stuff that I can't do and I would never do. It was stuff that, like, truthfully, I know, like, when I heard about, like, just filing papers to become an LLC, I was like, nope, I'm done. I'll just stay in the garage. She was like, no, well, I'll take care of that. I got it. So it's sort of a thankless job, but I thank you for it. Okay.
You're welcome.
Also, a big thank you to the CFBC coaches, and also that we call them our leadership team because they're not just coaches at the box. They're not just there punching in. These are people who have a say in what we do, and everything that we try to, like, guide the box, all the initiatives, all that kind of stuff. These people go way above and beyond. Close that door. Thanks.
Our toilet is possessed.
Sorry, our toilet is possessed. These guys go way above and beyond, like, what is required of them, and so we're going to recognize them in a little bit, but to Mo and Rico and Phil and Caden, big thank you to you guys. And then finally, all of you who are here, the people who we refer to as the athletes. You guys are the talent. We thank you guys for all being here and for supporting this mission. All right, so I'm going to jump into the prepared notes. Here we go. Bear with me. When we started CFBC almost 7 years ago, all we knew was this. This is something I discovered along the way. I found something really valuable, and I've got to find a way to give it away. There was very little thought given to the sacrifices that would be required along the way, the time, the effort, the resources, and even the heartbreak. God didn't show us all of that for good reason, and you guys probably understand how that works. He doesn't show you all of the things ahead of time because you wouldn't ever jump to begin with, right? Also, I did not have a clue about how helping people change their lives with CrossFit, helping them experience the freedom that I experienced physically, would bridge together with the real passion, the real mission, which is helping people discover a relationship with Jesus Christ, which is a spiritual freedom that's beyond anything that I can even describe in words. So that was and still is the underlying mission of CrossFit Broken Chains. We want to expose people to Jesus Christ, to His love. For some of you, this may be news. Like, it might be, wow, I didn't really know that. And if it is, if you're just now finding out, surprise. That's what it's all about. This is how we do life. This is how we do our mission. So on the physical side of things, getting healthy and fit is really easy in theory. All that is required, you eat real food, mostly plants, not too much. You train constantly varied functional movements at relatively high intensity. Voila. It's really simple, right? The old methods of training, the same stuff that I used to know when I was younger, right? You either had to train like a marathon runner or a triathlete, or you had to do the opposite extreme. You had to train like a bodybuilder, like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Even worse yet were the people who tried to combine them, like me, right? You do weightlifting on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, chest, back, and buys, and then you do your cardio on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturdays. That's what I grew up learning, right? It's sort of like false doctrine. The problem with that doctrine is that as soon as you combine the stuff into real life application, like in the battlefield or wherever you're doing life, stuff that might require you to run and pick something up and throw something and jump on something. Real life application, you fall apart if you try to train segmented like that. It doesn't work, right? You have to do it together, and you've got to mix things up constantly, right? So we've all found the value in this. So we understand that. It's really a pretty simple concept once you wrap your mind around it. But even though CrossFit is that simple in theory to do, we understand the theory behind it. It's really freaking hard, right? It's hard. And I got to tell you guys, that is why I love you all so much, right? You guys act as a filter for the rest of the world, right? For me personally, and I know that most of you feel that way about each other. You are a filter for the rest of the world because you guys do hard things. You show up when it's not convenient. It hurts. The stuff that you do hurts, right? You don't look for shortcuts, you don't make excuses, and you don't complain. So these are the type of people that I want in my life. So in a way, this is a very selfish endeavor, right? Because I like being around you guys. Okay, now I'm going to go to the spiritual side of things. Similarly, I grew up in the church. When I was a little kid, all through my life, I grew up in the church. I recall hearing the gospel, the story of Jesus Christ, and understanding, like first coming to the understanding of his birth, his life, his death, and his resurrection, and all the incredible things that surrounded that. And I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. And then I also realized, even at an early age, how flawed I was as a little kid. Like, even just being a kid, right? I was selfish. Sometimes I was lazy. I was disobedient with my parents. You know, I did things that weren't good. I coveted what other kids had, you know, so I knew that I was flawed. And I knew that that wasn't good, right? So, like, I knew that there was a problem with my life. And when I heard the story of what Christ did for me, his sacrifice for me set me free from my sins. Even as a young person and then growing up as an adult, I was like, wow, that's really incredible. I'll follow that guy, you know? However, it didn't take long after receiving that news as a little kid and understanding the significance of it, receiving it with childlike faith, that religion snuck its tentacles in and started giving me all of the rules and regulations that were required to follow Jesus, right? Being on a short account, I always felt like I was never good enough and that this was an unpleasable God and that anything that I did didn't really amount to anything. Like there was always something left. So it didn't take long for me to fall off that bandwagon because I even knew that like my own dad didn't feel that way about me. You know, so if God felt that way about me, then how was I supposed to relate to that? How was I ever supposed to be good enough for that? Well, that was a flawed understanding. And fast forward to my early 20s, after towards the end of my career in the Navy and getting married, Nettie and me coming back here to Orlando, I was re-exposed to the gospel of Jesus Christ for the first time. This time it was different. Somebody took the time to explain to me the difference between Old Covenant and New Covenant. Things that happened before Christ, things that happened after Christ. Understanding how to rightly divide what we call the word of truth, right? Like being able to look at Scripture and see who is being addressed, what is the significance of the timing of all of that, pre-Jesus, after Jesus, all that kind of stuff. Very basic things that like I should have learned from the start. It made a massive difference, and it helped me to understand and rediscover a relationship that I had lost. So that was a life-changing moment for me spiritually. And it happened around the same time that I discovered CrossFit. So I was just like unbound. Like that's a huge word for me. I became freed, you know, spiritually and physically. It was like I relearned everything over again. And it set me free. And so, therefore, when we decided that we were going to start CrossFit Broken Chains in a one-car garage, not too far from here, a one-car garage, we started doing some things in the box. we didn't really know how all of this was going to work out. Finally, Mom was our first client, you know. After a little while, Nettie kicked me out of the one-car garage, and we started up the little box. And here we are, almost 400. We just hit 396, I think, today. So almost 400 bond members later, right?
That's awesome.
We're still going. And there's been some challenges along the way, but we're alive and well, and it's because of you guys. All right. So I want to tell you guys, I stand here before you guys today, and I want to tell you from Jump Street, even having gone through all the stuff, it was all worth it. It was all worth it. And the reason it was all worth it is because people's lives are being impacted. Every single time you guys walk into the bay doors of Broken Chains, you're being exposed to Jesus, and you're getting healthy and fit, right? We're not done either, by the way. We're nowhere close to being done. This past year, okay, so let me just backtrack a little bit. This past year, from the very time that we started in that little box that we're at and we've been at for the past 7 years, the first time we opened up the doors, I always felt like, man, this place is not enough. It's too little, it's too narrow. We don't have enough stuff, we don't have enough equipment, and I'd always sort of had a little bit of a love-hate relationship with that place, and not being happy enough with what it was. Well, the Lord told me something this year. He spoke to me, okay? He spoke to my heart, and I heard him tell me these following things. He said, don't despise what I've given you. And then he said, you have everything that you need to accomplish your mission. Okay? So that inspired me to like say, it helps too when you have enough people to do this. But it inspired me to say, okay, we're going to start investing back into this place, into the cosmetics of it, and into the equipment of it. And therefore, you guys saw the crest went up this year. You saw the metal plating go up. We got those new torture devices that all of you guys are enjoying. So
Mixed reviews.
Likewise, there was some other pretty significant things that happened this year. Me and Phil and me were both invited to become a part of the Faith RX team. If those of you who don't know what Faith RX is, it's sort of a ministry group in the CrossFit community, and they've been around for a while. And they started a daily blog, like a daily, what do you call it? Newsletter, yeah. You get a daily newsletter. If you guys sign up for it, you get a daily like word of the day, and it's kind of cool. And me and Phil contribute to that. And so we're stepping into more of a relationship with the Faith RX group, and that's going to be really cool. And into 2020, we've got a lot of plans. So for the gym itself, we're going to replace the floors. Those floors have been there since day one. We're going to put new flooring down. We're hoping to get a kids program started this year. And we're going to start doing possibly, we're looking at trying to get a quarterly faith and fitness thing going where we'll all get together. You guys can invite your friends, and we'll do a workout together, some kind of body weight stuff, just basic things. We'll do a workout together, and then we'll share the gospel with people. We'll talk to them about Jesus a little bit, and then we'll get on out of there. So we're excited about that. Lots of cool things are happening. We're not done. Okay? So here's the last thing. How do you guys all fit into this? I want to invite you guys into this a little bit deeper, okay? First of all, you guys are our disciples. You guys are Broken Chains disciples. Each one of you is a walking billboard. If you haven't noticed, we don't do a whole lot of advertising. We don't have billboards up or anything like that. This is all word of mouth, pretty much, okay? But you guys show the world what real freedom looks like. We're not asking any of you guys to like go out on a recruiting scheme for Broken Chains. That's not what this is about. It's not to drive up membership. I don't care about that. All we're asking you guys to do is the same thing that God put on our heart to do 8 years ago, and that's give away what you've got. The things that you are learning about health and fitness and nutrition and all that kind of stuff. Start giving it away. Start telling people about it. My own dad just came to me like in the past week or two and started asking for help, and I've been praying for that for a while, so I'm really excited about that. Okay. So guys, you know some stuff that's really valuable. Give it away. Don't just hold it in for yourself. Start telling people about it. Okay? In your schools, your churches, your homes, all that stuff. You guys live the standard and set the example. Also, continue to be warm and welcoming at the gym. When you see somebody there that you don't know, go up and say hi to them. Okay, here's another unwritten rule of Broken Chains. Okay, it's not written anywhere. You guys need to know this. When we finish a workout, you break down somebody else's stuff before you break down your own. So like, start putting people's stuff away, right? They just automatically, that's the thing that Broken Chains does, okay? You put away their kettlebells. You help them out. You know, when people walk in, it's like their first time being exposed to CrossFit. You all know that stupid look that they have, right? They're like, right? They don't know what's going on. Go up and say hi to them. Tell them it's going to be okay, you know? It's going to hurt so bad. Here's another thing that I want to invite you guys into, okay? Here's another thing I want to invite you guys into, and this is a big one, okay? Train at a time that may not be the most convenient time for you to work out. Right?
Talking to the 4 o'clock class.
We all
I didn't hear it.
4 o'clock is a very popular class, right? But if you happen to be open at 6, there's a few people there that need you, right? So start coming to that class and start making that a bigger class. Yeah, 6:30 in the morning, right? All right, keep coming to the box. I've said this before, I'll say it again. The people who stick with us for the longest, they're givers. They're people who give. They're people who have a heart to give. So keep coming to the box. Keep coming to the box. Learn more, learn more, learn more, and give more, give more, give more. Okay, to the community around you. CrossFit Broken Chains is only here today because of you guys. And we're in debt to you forever. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for coming. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.